Chapter 5 Bally Don't Take No Shit. Memphis nights had their own rhythm, the hum of neon signs, the thump of bass spilling out of the clubs on Beale, the constant hiss of whispers in alleyways where business got done. Bally Buster owned that rhythm. But some people, usually stupid, greedy people, had a habit of thinking they could change the song. Marco leaned against the hood of the Cadillac outside Rico's club, cigarette glowing red in the dark. He wasn't smiling tonight. "They're calling themselves the D'Amico Boys," Marco said as Bally approached, cigar clenched tight between his teeth. "New crew from New Orleans, been leaning on your bookies, pushing their own action on your corners." Bally's eyes narrowed. "How many corners?" "3 so far," Marco said. "And get this, they told Joey Calvini to pay them for protection." Bally stopped cold, smoke curling out of his nostrils like a dragon sizing up its prey. "Joey didn't tell him to go to hell." "He tried," Marco said with a shrug. "They broke his nose for the trouble." Bally exhaled a long stream of smoke, the tip of his cigar glowing like a slow-burning fuse. "They put hands on one of my earners. In my city." Marco nodded. "That's what it looks like." Bally didn't say anything for a long moment. He just stared at the street, at the lights, at the city that belonged to him. Finally, he turned, his voice quiet but sharp enough to cut glass. "Get the boys. Tonight. I want every soldier, every hitter. We're gonna remind these punks whose city this is." Marco grinned, flicking his cigarette into the gutter. "Music to my ears, boss." By midnight, the convoy rolled out, a line of Cadillacs and Buicks gliding through the streets like a funeral procession that hadn't realized it was a funeral yet. The D'Amico Boys were holed up in a rundown pool hall on the south side, their cars parked out front, music thumping from inside like they owned the place. Bally stepped out of his Cadillac first, black suit immaculate, cigar smoke drifting in the humid air. Marco fell in beside him, hand resting on the butt of his pistol like it was part of him. Inside, the pool hall went quiet the moment Bally pushed through the door. 6 of them. Young, cocky, dressed sharp but cheap, all flash, no substance. One of them, a tall, wiry guy with slicked back hair and a gold tooth, stepped forward with a grin too wide for his face. Well, the man said, spreading his arms. "If it ain't Bally Buster. The man, the myth, the..." Bally cut him off with a sharp look. "Shut your mouth." The grin faltered, but only for a second. "Hey, no need for..." "Shut your mouth," Bally repeated, his voice low and calm, the kind of calm that made the air in the room heavy. The man froze, his smile evaporating. "You think you can come into my city," Bally said, stepping forward, each word deliberate, measured, deadly. "You think you can touch my people, take my corners, break my earners, and walk away breathing." The man swallowed hard but tried to hold his ground. We just wanted a piece, Bally. That's all. No disrespect." "No disrespect." Bally's laugh was sharp, humorless. "You put hands on my man, and you call that no disrespect?" Behind him, Marco stepped forward, cracking his knuckles loud enough to echo in the silence. "Boss," Marco said, his tone dripping with venom, "I think these boys forgot who runs Memphis." Bally tilted his head slightly, eyes never leaving the man in front of him. "Yeah, Marco. Looks like they did." The room held its breath. Then Bally moved. Fast. His fist cracked across the man's jaw, the gold tooth clattering to the floor as the man crumpled like wet paper. The others reached for weapons, but Bally's soldiers were faster, pistols drawn, hammers cocked, the cold click of steel freezing everyone in place. "You get one message to take back to New Orleans," Bally said, his voice cold as the Mississippi in December. "Memphis is mine. My streets, my corners, my money. Anybody touches what's mine, anybody even thinks about it." He paused, taking a slow drag from his cigar, exhaling smoke into the stunned silence. "I'll bust more than your balls." The cleanup was quick. No bodies, not tonight. Bally didn't need bodies to send a message. He needed fear, and fear, he knew, was best served alive. Later, back at the warehouse, Marco poured 2 glasses of bourbon and slid one across the desk to Bally. "Well," Marco said, lifting his glass, "that's one way to make an introduction." Bally leaned back in his chair, the smoke from his cigar curling toward the ceiling. These kids, they think this life's a game. They think it's about flash, about noise. They don't understand it's about respect. Always about respect. Marco smirked, sipping his drink. Think they got the message? Bally chuckled, low and dark. Oh, they got it. By tomorrow morning, every Shylock, every bookie, every dealer from here to Chicago's gonna know, Bally don't take no shit. Marco grinned. Amen to that. 2 days later, word came up the grapevine, the D'Amico crew packed up and slunk back to New Orleans with their tails between their legs. One of them even left his car behind. Bally had it towed, stripped, and sold. Consider it a donation, he told Marco with a smirk. Thank you for not killing him. That night, back at Rico's club, the city buzzed with the news. Men nodded respectfully as Bally walked through, women smiled, and even the toughest guys kept their voices low and their eyes lowered. Memphis was quiet again, order restored. And in a quiet corner of the club, Marco leaned in with a grin. You know what they're saying, boss, Marco said. Bally raised an eyebrow, sipping his bourbon. What's that? They're saying, Bally don't take no shit. Bally smirked, the smoke from his cigar curling upward like a crown. Damn right. End of chapter 5.